Welcome to Pre-Lesson D. This is where we're going to talk about when you are in Japan and you go into someone's house. When you go into someone's house, there are certain phrases that you say. We don't really have this in America, but Japan has a protocol, a certain set of words that you always say that is typical culture and very respectful. So we're going to talk about coming and going in Japanese. And before we do that, we're going to give you some basic phrases, basic greetings. So this one, good morning, is one of the most used things, right? Because it's typically when you meet somebody in the morning. And even if you meet somebody late at night for the first time, you could joke and say good morning because it's the first time that you met them, and Japanese people will do this. So this is Ohayou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu. Now notice I'm lengthening because I have the OU sound, right? Ohayou. I'm not saying Ohayou. Ohayou. A lot of people like to remember that good morning is like the state, Ohio. But it's not, because it's a little bit lengthened, right? It's not Ohayou. Hey, I'm from Ohio. You don't do that. So it's lengthened. Make sure you lengthen it so you sound natural. Ohayou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu. And remember, it's not Ohayou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu. There will be people to do it. There will be people. But it's almost always best to do Ohayou gozaimasu. Now, there's a shortened form of this where you just say Ohayou. You can say this with people that you know. People that are your friends. I want to warn you right now. You will learn casual Japanese. You will learn slang. I'm going to warn you, until you're good in Japanese, don't use it. Do not specifically use slang because it will come off very bad. Now, I use slang, but my Japanese is really good. I grew up in Japan. I've been married to a Japanese girl for 25 years, or 21 years. Sorry, I jumped the gun there a little bit. But, I have earned the ability, not right, because we all have the right to speak what we want. I'm a very casual speaker, but I never start out with casual terms with people. So if I met somebody for the first time, or the second time even, I wouldn't say Ohayou. I would say Ohayou gozaimasu. I would show the respect. Now, I'm not trying to be a prude. I'm just saying, even I get offended when people come into the website, the Japanese from Zero chat room, and they speak really casual phrases. It's awkward because they should show some respect. It's Japanese culture. So I would say, until you know what you're doing, don't be that guy that thinks he's funny by saying really super casual things. Now, again, this is like a really beginning lesson, so I don't think you know that. But just please be nice. And if you have stories where, I have heard stories where people have been casual on Japanese chat systems, like Hello Talk, and people have stopped talking to them. Yeah, because it's rude. You don't call someone dude when you first meet them, for example, in English. We don't do that. All right, wow. Didn't mean to go long on that. So that is good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. Or the short, Ohayou. Good afternoon. Now I want you to look at this. There's two N's in there. It's not konnichiwa. It's not konnichiwa. It's konnichiwa. 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 Don't say konnichiwa. You can, and they will understand you, but you will sound completely like a foreigner. You will sound like a guy that hasn't... So I was going to say, you're going to sound like a guy with an American flag on your t-shirt. And I already had it. I promise you that wasn't planned. So it's konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. All right. Good evening. Konbanwa. Konbanwa. Now that N almost sounds like an M, doesn't it? Because when the N goes to the B, your mouth naturally makes an M sound. So some materials will spell it K-O-M, but that's wrong because there is no such thing in Japanese. There is no independent M sound. There is mami mumemo, but there's no sound in Japanese. There is an sound though, and that can be written with an N. Konbanwa. Konbanwa. That means good evening. Now what it doesn't mean is, so you could say good evening and you say goodbye and you use it as a goodbye thing. It's not that. It's not like a good evening, sir. I said good evening. Right? When you're saying goodbye, it doesn't mean that. This only is when you're first meeting someone in the night, you can say good evening. When you're saying goodbye, you say this one, which is good night. You say oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. I'm saying it in the way that they would say it. Oyasumi nasai. Bow a little bit. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai. Okay, it means good night. It means I'm not going to see you anymore this evening. So I'm going to say oyasumi nasai, or you're getting ready to go to bed, and that is what you say to each other. If you know the person, you could say oyasumi. Like I say that to my wife, say it to my kids. My kids can say it to me, but until you're good at Japanese, at least respectively, these aren't rude at all. To say oyasumi, not rude. Ohayou, not rude. But make sure you know the person. Make sure that that person is equal status with you. If you're in doubt, please only say Ohayou gozaimasu or oyasumi nasai. All right. We all know the song, I think. Maybe the younger people don't. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo. Well, that comes from the phrase arigato gozaimasu. And you can have domo in front of this, but it's not necessary. Arigato gozaimasu. Perfectly fine. Arigato gozaimasu. Arigato gozaimasu. Not arigato. Not arigato. Nowhere is it ever arigato. It's arigato. Arigato gozaimasu. Okay, they kind of lengthen out that mas because it's friendly that way. Arigato gozaimasu. I mean, it is really just arigato gozaimasu. But when they say it, they arigato gozaimasu. You'll also hear, now this is in the lesson, you'll hear arigato gozaimashita, which is past tense. And there's a debate between Japanese people. If you look on the internet, you'll find even Japanese people saying, well, should we say arigato gozaimasu or arigato gozaimashita? And doesn't arigato gozaimashita mean that I was thankful, but now that I'm not anymore? You know, there's debate on it. Or when the action is done, do I say arigato gozaimashita? I'm just going to say this. Don't think about it. Just say arigato gozaimasu. It's perfect. You don't have to ever worry about it. It means thank you, and it's good enough. All right. Final one. And this is also not in the lesson, but I added it because people screw this up all the time. Like every American knows sayonara. We all know sayonara. Okay, but it's not sayonara number one. It's sayonara. 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 It's long. Sayonara. And you never say it. Don't say it. Unless you're saying goodbye to somebody for many years. Unless you're never going to see them again. Like, this is not a casual phrase. Say bye-bye. I mean, literally in Japanese, they'll say bye-bye. They'll say mata atode, which means see you later. Mata atode. These are all phrases you can find. Okay? This video isn't meant to teach you everything, but I really want you to avoid saying sayonara. Sayonara is, I want you to imagine this scene. Sayonara. That's what you're doing. You're not going to say that, hey, I'm going to go to the convenience store, I'm going to get some milk. Farewell. Let me know when you come back. Don't say sayonara. Say anything else but sayonara. Oh man, I thought this was the end, but this is the beginning. So these were the phrases we were trying to get through just to get to this most important coming and going section. So these are the cultural phrases that we say. All right. When you leave your house in the morning, you say this to everybody in the house or anybody that's there. You say, ittekimasu. Ittekimasu. There's a double T. So go look about our pronunciation stuff, okay? On the pronunciation lesson, pre-lesson B. But ittekimasu. Ittekimasu means I'm going to go, itte, and kimasu, come back. Now don't think about the grammar, but I just gave you a little bit of hint. It's go and come back. This can translate as I will go and come back. But you only say it if you're going to come back. If you're never coming back, you don't say ittekimasu. Now, if you're leaving your house and you're going to go to America for a month, or Japan for a month, you can still say ittekimasu because you will be back. This is why it's typically said only when you're leaving your house, okay? Ittekimasu. When you say that, the cultural response is always going to be itterashai, itterashai, and that means literally go and come back. And you can a lot of times when you're learning Japanese, people get like stuck on this phrase equals this exact thing in English when it really doesn't. You know, there's a lot of variation. You know, ittekimasu, for example, can be like all right, I'm out of here. In English, right? I'm out of here. Or catch you later. Like it can mean all sorts of things, right? But we're just saying here very simply, I'll be back. But Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't say this if he, when he goes, I'll be back. He wouldn't say itekimasu. There's a whole other thing he would say. Because he's not at home, he's not going to say itekimasu. We'll do that in another video. So if you say itekimasu, or if someone says it to you, then the response is always itterashai, itterashai. All right? Now, when you come home, this is what you say. You always say, tadaima. Tadaima means I'm back. Tadaima. I'm home, I'm back. It means all those things, okay? It's wherever you said ittekimasu at, when you go back to that place, you can say tadaima. And there is a set phrase that you will say back to them, or they will say back to you, and it is okaeri nasai. Okaeri nasai. Okaeri nasai. Okaeri nasai means welcome back. Now we're finally done. All right, so I will see you all on the next lesson where we finally will be able to make our own questions and make our own responses, and we're going to be doing basic sentence creation in Japanese. That is going to be lesson 1 of Japanese from Zero, book 1. If you don't have the book, go get it on Amazon. If you have bought the book, please give us a review on Amazon. We love your reviews. Or if you're using the free course online, make sure you review everything prior to that lesson so that we don't get stuck when we're trying to make sentences. I'll see you all then on Japanese from Zero. Bye. Sayonara. Sayonara. I'll see you guys next time.